Rise and shine, Miss Mulder. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of drama, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your crimes have come again. The right tran in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So, wake up. Today you stand accused, well, several crimes, but chief among which is being horny on Maine, a crime like no other. While we are quite certain that you are guilty of several crimes, in fact, they all contribute to the sort of character that we can expect from a YouTuber. But don't worry, we're here to sort out the truth. There's a freaking bird thing over there and you want to talk about truth? Where am I? Who are you? We are quite confident that you are guilty. Guilty of what exactly? Internet crimes? Horny on Maine? What? Well, as you are certainly aware, there are limitations as to what you can do online, especially in your situation. And you better stick with those rules, lest ye be cancelled and become a poor investment. What? I haven't noticed anything. No one has cancelled me. You've mostly relied on luck so far. But you have your own rules, don't you? The ones in your mind. The ones that tell you to be a force for good, a provider of insightful perspectives and narratives, for education. How well have you followed within those rules? How well have you followed those rules? What does that matter? I think I've done a pretty good job, but no one cares about that except for me. And the Raven. He knows. You see, that bird person is your accountant. He accounts for your integrity, for your internal values. You could fool everyone in the world, but not him. And if you anger him, well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Yes, sir. I'll get on with it. Who are you? Let's start from the top. You've managed to build quite a little community here, wouldn't you say? Quite a progressive bunch. But you are today charged with internet crimes, Mia Mulder, and let's begin. Are you a feminist, Miss Mulder? A feminist? A feminist. Yeah, I think so. So you admit it. Think so. What does that mean? I mean, personally, I think that feminism isn't something that you identify with. It's something that you do. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you identify as if you don't do what is required. It doesn't matter what you think unless you put in the work, but I like to think that I am. You haven't really discussed feminism, have you, on your YouTube channel? In fact, it seems like feminism in your part of YouTube seems to be a little taboo. What? Well, it seems to me that whenever the term feminism comes up, it's almost always in the term of anti-feminism or gender-critical feminism. I haven't really seen that much progressive feminism, so to say. It's mostly people talking about not being feminists. Well, I'm not doing that type of content. Well, are you doing anything to counter it? In fact, none of your videos have discussed feminism, or not even topics directly related to it. There's a reason for that, isn't there, Miss Mulder? There's a reason why you haven't really talked about it. Is it not true that, at least in part, you have become disillusioned with feminism? It's true. For a while now, whenever I see feminism being mentioned, it's never positive. It's never progressive. I know logically that the majority of feminism isn't being transphobic or regressive, but that doesn't change the fact that most of my experience in the last couple of years have been with transphobic feminists. I know that feminism is good, it's just that after you've had one too many bad experiences with it, you don't really want to seek out feminist spaces anymore. But I'd like to think that the values and ideals that I promote are still feminist values. I like to still think that I am a feminist in my work. Do you really think so? Because he seems to think you lie. I have noticed that a lot of comments I get reflect on the way that I look. Sure, I let myself be a little objectified, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's too much of a crime. Frankly, I do sometimes wish that my audience didn't sexualize me as much as they do. I mean, sometimes it's fine. When I do explicitly sexual content, which I do, I admit, then it's fine. But most of the time, I'm just posting a selfie or making a YouTube video. I don't necessarily want to be sexualized all the time. But do you do feminism then? You allow objectification of yourself to talk about subjects that aren't even explicitly feminist. But I don't think it has to be explicitly feminist. The topic on YouTube is such a taboo that whenever you search for it, it's kind of hated on. Isn't it better to just promote the ideas without calling them feminist, if people have such a negative reaction to the word itself? And you don't think that affects the message that you are sending itself? Because to me, it seems that you are fine with objectification of women as long as it serves your own profit. But feminism is a very wide category. It includes many different subgroups that aren't always compatible, whereas anti-feminists can just point to this overarching umbrella term of feminism and all collectively unite under that. Feminists don't always have that opportunity because of the many different subcategories. But anti-feminism is such a wide category that anyone who wants to delegitimize feminist organizations or just use feminism as a scapegoat to blame their other political ideas on, they can do so. Even leftist groups. I thought leftists were supposed to be the gender warrior SJW type. Aren't they the ones that are feminists? Sometimes. But it's not just people who don't like feminism that are anti-feminists. Feminist Franziska Schutzbach has written that anti-feminism in recent years has become a hinge issue that a lot of people use to promote other political ideas. Feminism is portrayed to control vast institutions that some people want to delegitimize. Think about how far-right people often don't like feminism, and they are also the same people who claim that universities are being controlled by the SJWs or something. I mean, do you remember Sargon's petition? The one where he petitioned university to stop social justice courses. Yes, I remember. In fact, Carl is another one of our investments. Yeah, that's the one. Isn't it odd that someone who claims to be on the side of free speech was petitioning universities to be against a theory that he doesn't like? Because with his own logic, it's not just SJW courses that would fall under criticism. When universities can't abide by his impossible demands, those institutions also fall under criticism. Universities being accused of being controlled by big gender, and it benefits, for example, far-right causes to delegitimize institutions like this. And if they do it under the guise of being anti-feminist skeptics, then they won't be accused of being far-right chuds. The Raven thinks that you maybe shouldn't trash talk the skeptic community as much. No, but it's true. How many anti-feminist harassment campaigns haven't been filled to the brim with actual Nazis? How many anti-feminist harassment campaigns haven't been filled with far-right personalities making a profit from it? I mean, I don't even want to mention specific harassment campaigns so that they don't find me, because I don't want to be harassed. Feminism isn't about defending feminism, whereas anti-feminism is only about attacking feminism. And so in many cases, it's just easier to not bother. Like, it's easier for us to just walk around the issue. We can still talk about things, we can still talk about topics like feminism, topics that would benefit feminism, without just saying it. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I know that many other YouTubers don't talk about feminism despite wanting to, just to avoid harassment. Self-preservation is a thing, and I think that plays a larger role here than a lot of people might realize. So, okay, I don't put in the work, but you can see why I don't. Well, at least you admit your crimes. But let's move on to a thing that you mentioned, your relationship with your fans. You don't really have too many of those, do you? Well, I mean, enough to do this. As a job, I mean. And how many is that? Around 18,000? I'm sorry, what does this have to do about being horny on main? Well, the reason I ask is because you've grown quite a bit in the last year, haven't you? I mean, a year ago you had less than 1,000 subscribers, and here you are, doing it as your job. Whew. Yes, quite fun for you, I imagine. In fact, didn't you used to post a lot more of horny content back before you had a fan base? I was a much more private individual back then. I still haven't really come to terms with the fact that I'm a public person. And sometimes I fuck up because of that. Sometimes I still think that I am just another random person on the internet, but I guess I'm not. But the second someone recognized me, I removed myself from those spaces. I don't want people to develop parasocial relationships with me. I don't want people to think that I know them, or that they know me. And you don't want that? Even if it means that they become more dedicated fans. You don't think that frequently giving emotional perspectives on your end, you don't think that lends people to believe that they know you? By being personal, are you not inviting your fans to create personal relationships? Wait. This is about parasocial relationships. We're right now, we're talking about parasocial relationships. You said this was about being horny on main. Listen, I just want to be a creator. I just want to make videos. I don't want to comment on parasocial relationships too much. I don't know enough about that. And I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to be a part of that discussion. I just want to make videos. Perhaps, but I would like to add another perspective of how you gain your supporters. Isn't it true that you basically steal all your content from other creators that are more successful than you? In fact, isn't this entire video format basically stolen from PhilosophyTube? Because he made a video on parasocial relationships that basically look exactly like this one, and we are currently talking about parasocial relationships in a way. Sure, this video is directly inspired by PhilosophyTube, but calling it stolen is a bit much. The dialogue format has been used for decades among creators online. Besides, most people compare me to ContraPoints anyway. Yes, we've noticed. Why do you think that is? Because I'm a trans woman talking about politics with an overlapping fan base? Is that it? In your very first video, you mentioned being inspired by ContraPoints. You don't think that you've stayed in that direction? Not really. I don't do philosophy as such. And besides, I don't use characters debating each other wearing extravagant outfits in colored lighting. No, but really, I spend most of my time in front of a bookshelf. If anything, I'm stealing from every vlogger since 2008. Do you think it's okay? Because you mentioned it here. Because to me, it all sounds like one big admission of guilt. Colored lights, pouring liquids. I mean, these comparisons aren't coming out of nowhere, and you know that. You know why people compare you. And you know it's partly intentional, isn't it? I still don't see what this has to do with being horny on main. I will give you this. I think you have an eye to see what people want. The demographic you want is the same one that also craves colored lights and talk about politics. They are the ones that want these weird conversations where you talk to yourself. Isn't that the bread tube demographic that you want? Bread tube? What's bread tube? Don't insult me by feigning ignorance. You can still be punished. You can still be cancelled. You are not powerful enough yet. You know what BreadTube is. In fact, you've went to their subreddit several times to promote your own videos, haven't you? BreadTube, as people say, is just a name for a community of people that like your content, but that also like the content of other, better creators. You see that people want this type of content. They are horny for it, so to say. And you, being a smart creator, appease them by copying the same amount of horniness. Hence, horny on main. I admit, it's a bit of a stretch. But your fans probably wouldn't look into this video unless they thought it would be porn again, wouldn't they? Even in this video, you are merely repeating the crimes that you are accused of. You have not done anything to redeem yourself, merely admitted guilt. I disagree. I think you're being totally unfair to my position. Sure, I'm not out here making Schindler's List, but people like what I do. I've gotten dozens of emails about my videos on transness, about how I helped them come out, or how I helped them deal with their own internalized misogyny. Like, I've helped people. I did that, not some carbon copy of another YouTuber. I did that, and I think that's fair. I deserve some goddamn recognition for that, I think. And I should probably do better. I know that people compare me to others. Knowing that, I probably should make more of an effort to stand out, to develop my own style even more. Even if I personally think that I'm doing fine, I probably should make more of an effort. I guess. To me, this seems a little bit like people just pitting trans women against each other. How many male YouTubers do you see getting compared to each other all the time? Because they're also in front of bookshelves. And also, do you have any idea how many times I've seen people say something along the lines of ContraPoints is cancelled, Mia Mulder is our new queen? Like, who do you think that helps? Because it doesn't help me. That just put me on a pedestal, and I don't want that. I don't want to be used as some kind of weapon against another YouTuber because they don't like them, but they like me better. And I don't know, I don't think that anyone else would like that either. I want to be judged by my own work for my own work. I don't want to be put on someone else's pedestal as their queen or whatever. I don't want that. And actually, now that I am on a rant, I think that I am making feminist content. There are only so many trans women on YouTube. There's not an oversaturation or anything. And I think that my content promotes good feminist values. And I mean, I have to think that. Otherwise, what's even the point? You know, what's even the point of doing this if it's not worth it? Oh, the answer to this one is easy. Profit. Profit? Profit. It's all that we care about here. If I only wanted to make a profit, I would have gone into porn. Or started selling out my own values. Or make videos that were more marketable to people. But I don't want to do that. I have messages that I want to give to people. I have things that I want to say, and sometimes that comes at the cost of profit. So you don't want money? I mean, I gotta pay rent. I need food. Are you horny for money, Miss Mulder? Your channel has been growing fairly quickly recently. You could probably get sponsors soon. In fact, we know that you even gotten offers. Why haven't you taken anyone up yet? Probably will do it. Eventually, when I feel comfortable enough doing it. But honestly, the biggest reason why I haven't done it yet is paperwork. I'm still new at this. I haven't been on YouTube professionally in a year yet. I don't know how things work. I still really don't know how to be a YouTuber. And so I don't really want to sign up to anything when I don't really know how it works. I think a lot of people overestimate what people like me do. Because I'm just me. I'm just a person. I'm just a random trans woman stuck in Sweden making YouTube videos on her cell phone. I don't know how to do marketing things. I don't really know how to do sponsorships deals. Other YouTubers have helped me and they've helped a lot, but at the end of the day, I still gotta learn a lot of things myself, and honestly, I don't really know that much yet. I know academics. I know what I'm talking about when I make my videos. The messages that I put into them, yeah, I know that, and I'm slowly learning eventually how to make proper videos as well. I mean, I'm trying. People seem to like them, so I can't really complain, but you know, I would like more money eventually to survive, not just to survive, but like to live, to maybe get some better housing conditions, to maybe afford better food, to travel, that would be fun, to invest in equipment to make better videos, to invest in tutorials and courses so I can be better at what I want to do. So what do you have to say to the people who claim that you have sold out the cause? The cause? Well, the cause. The left cause. The trans cause. Whatever cause you want. Your last video, Transsexuals and Suffering, it's doing well. It's one of your most popular videos, actually. Do you not feel that you are selling out your own trans identity to be gawked at by cis people? No. Not really, I don't really know what you're talking about. But most of your audience aren't trans, are they? Probably, but I haven't checked. But I mean, there are more cis people in the world than trans people. It's not that much of a leap to say that most of the people that watch my videos aren't trans. Are you not taking an in-community issue and broadcasting it to the world for your own profit? Not really. I always expect a certain amount of knowledge from my own audience. I trust my audience to know some things, but I also want to keep it open and available for anyone to watch, for anyone to be able to enjoy, to take in knowledge from. It's not really a trans cis point of view, it's more of a being as generic so that anyone can take part but still being specific enough to impart knowledge. And so usually when I make videos on trans topics, some of the knowledge that I impart seems redundant to other trans people. But I'm not like directing my videos to cis people because of that. If I were a better YouTuber, I probably would try to work on demographics. But I just make my videos on things that I want to talk about. But money is part of it. Of course it is. I've avoided several topics to talk about because I know that they wouldn't be profitable. Or I know that maybe sometimes my opinion would be unpopular. So I don't talk about it. I don't want to alienate the audience that I have. Eventually, at the end of the day, I need to make money. I haven't betrayed any part of my own ideology, though. I've never lied. So you admit then that you are a bit of a sellout. Once again, you admit your crimes. I suppose I do. This has been a very fruitful conversation, and you've basically led the entire conversation yourself. You don't do feminism as much as you'd like. You encourage poor relationships with your fans. You steal content from other creators, and you try to make money. How dare you? But our books are settled. In fact, you're just a regular YouTuber then. Wait, really? You are guilty. But because you don't stand out too much, we are letting you go with a warning. That feels slightly anticlimactic. Don't get me wrong, you have issues. But you've managed to avoid drama for this long. Mostly, anyway. And since these are the only topics that we could think of to generate drama, we think that you are going to remain a good investment for us. Really, religion was the only other sector that we could think of to spawn any drama, but since you and many in your sphere are atheists, we strongly suspect that that won't really be a cause for drama. But... I'm not an atheist. What? I'd like to thank Adam Kusher, Aini Salminen, Alex E.T. Snyder, Amalia, Amelia Fletcher, Amy Seven, Anna Akrasia, Argri Konu, Austin K, Charlotte van Petrem, Christopher Steinmuller, Koda Ezel, Xbox, Emil Rutkowski, Emily Christ, Emma Not Goldman, Fox Kant, Garrett Gutierrez, Huang Wu, Jane Lusby, Josh Less, Jörgen Danielsen, Katarzyna JJ, Kim, Kitchens, LPQ Silver, Linus 2.0, Learen Sagan, Marcin Servan, Michelle, Miles Lambert Gillum, Molly, MSG, Nicholas Trevino, Patrick Stack, Phobos 2390, QP McKay, Rosie, Ryan Kolak, Safi Huck, Sula Emanuel, Tiffany A, Uncle Cheese, Vinder, William Pietri, Rex, Simku. And a special thanks, of course, to all my patrons who've made this video possible.